Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again. Please excuse my voice because it last night it was very cold, and so my throat got really dry and sore from just like breathing in all that cold air for hours and hours. Eventually I had to cover my head with the blanket just to not, just to sleep. Like, it was horrible. So I just wanted to say that because I know that, I might talk differently a little bit. Just please don't mind it. So I'm here to talk about another Goosebumps book, My Hairiest Adventure. And now this is a really weird one. It it's a giant WTF. The day that I read it, I actually read two books in one day, and I read this one like late at night, and I just remember being like, "What the like, like, it was so weird. It was so crazy and so it is an indescribable book. It is so weird and yet so good and yet so bad. It's like, what? It's like, how do I classify this book? It's basically about this kid who has a lot of sweat problems. And it's basically a metaphor for puberty, like with Teen Wolf. It's basically Teen Wolf, but babyish, kinda. And so that's the basic story. It's like Teen Wolf, and he has this problem where he can't sweat, and so if he does these certain things and he sweats too much or he runs, then he'll actually pass out, and it gets intense at certain points, the stuff that happens. It's very well done, the suspense in this book, the tension when he does stuff, and you get really worried about this kid. It's really actually a good book in that sense. And so he actually has to go to the doctor and get shots all the time to help with his sweat glands. And so I thought that that was a really interesting thing to have in like a kid's book. Like, to have that instead of just it being a normal kid, you have this kid who's got a problem. And then he also finds this tanning liquid, and he out in the garbage can, and he puts it on himself. And there is some stupid stuff in this book, but honestly I don't care. It's it's funny because when I read it I really hated it, and I thought, like, ugh, this book is so formulaic and so bad. He just keeps on growing hair in weird places, and then he's like it's just but it's good though. It's like, it's entertaining. Like, I remember it. I didn't even have to look at any notes to remember what happened in this book. Like, it was that good. And it was definitely ripping off Teen Wolf though. I mean, first off, I believe the main kid is named Michael. Like Michael J. Fox. And another thing is that near the end of the book, him and his friends are playing a band. No, not a band, but like a rock song for the whole school, which was very reminiscent of Back to the Future. And then what happens is, like, he grows hair, and he's turning fully into a werewolf or a dog or whatever, and then he runs away. And it's like, okay, this is exactly like Teen Wolf. But still, I loved it. But I hated it too. It's like, I don't know what to say about this book. It is so strange that R.L. Stine was able to create this mystery of a book where it's like, on one hand, I loved it, and it was such a unique experience and a unique story with these pretty good characters, but then on the other hand, it was kind of trash. It was kind of like, ugh, I want to read a horror book. I want to read something with with more horror in it, and not just a guy growing hair and then having sweat problems. Like, that's literally this whole book. But there are some really creepy things in this book, like what ends up happening to his girl space friend, because this is another book where the character clearly should be in a relationship with the main girl. I think her name was Lily. He should have been with her, and it was just obvious. And of course, he wasn't, because it's Goosebumps. You can't do that in Goosebumps for some reason. And so, but what happens with her is really creepy, and these it was so Hitchcockian near the end, the way that everything played out. What happens is that there's this dog, and these dogs keep on chasing him, and he wonders why the whole book. And it gets really intense at certain points because they make him run. And then also at the same time, it's winter. And so he's got to put on like lots of layers of clothing, which makes him sweat. Like these are just, it's so cool how simple this was, and how he was able to just do so much with so little. And, but there's this dog that comes up to him, and the dog has two different eye colors, just like Lily. And also, she has the same necklace that Lily was wearing. And I just thought that that was so creepy, and so, like, it felt like the Twilight Zone. It felt like a really well done. And then the twist, man, that twist was just phenomenal. I love that twist, where it's like the whole time these kids were never kids. They were dogs that were turned into kids. That's what the shots were for. It was just a giant experiment, and that was so cool. But I don't know what to rate this book. That's the thing. Like, I want to give it like an A plus or like an A minus, but then I also want to give it an F, because it's so it's indescribable. As I said, it is so weird, but I'm not gonna even rate it because it's that weird. I would actually really recommend this book. I know that you might struggle starting to read it because it's very casual. You know, as I said, there's not a lot of horror. It's very simple. It's very underplayed, the horror in the book. And so, you know, I really recommend this book. It might be one of my favorite books. I have to think about it. You know, I've thought about it for a couple of months, but it's really tough to decide, like, if I'll put this in the A or the F. Like, it's that mixed. It is that weird. I don't want to give it a B or a C, because I don't think that it deserves those grades, or even a D. You know, I either want to give it an A or an F. So I guess my grade is A plus / F plus. That's weird. That's never happened. Probably won't ever happen again on this channel for me to do that type of weird rating. But it just shows that this book is worth it. I highly recommend you guys check out this book. It's nowhere near as bad as people say it is. You know, I understand what people say about it. You know, the things like, I even criticized, it's basically him growing hair. Where's the hair coming from? Why is the hair growing? Oh, I don't know, puberty, dipshit. But of course, it's not really puberty, because it's because he's a dog. But I understand why people don't like it, and I don't know. For some reason, it really worked for me after that moment of reading it. Afterwards, I was like, I hated this, but then after I thought about it, I loved it. So again, check out this book, My Hairiest Adventure, because the book is very worth it. They really did the book dirty in the episode. The episode was complete trash. Do not watch the episode. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, tell me what you thought about My Hairiest Adventure, because I know a lot of people hate it. A lot of people say this is the worst one. And I honestly, I don't know how they could say that when other ones in the series exist that we'll talk about pretty soon. And then also subscribe to our channel so that you'll see more Goosebumps reviews, because I will be reviewing every book probably in the Goosebumps series. So, goodbye everybody, see you soon.